What could you do to protect your pets if you're sick or injured? My product, Save My Pet ID Tag, helps you ensure that your beloved pets are safe and well cared for, even when life isn't what you expect.
Direct from the glitz, the glamour of Las Vegas, we welcome the, in capital letters, Magician of the Year. Now, he mixes up stand-up comedy with mind-melting magic. What I love about him most of all is that he features on stage the world's only magic performing chihuahua. You know, Mr. Piffles. Now you know who I have on as my show. Please welcome to our show the one and only Piff, the Magic Dragon. I am so excited to have you on the show, Piff. Can I call you
Arden.
Piff?
Sure. Yeah, call whatever you want. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Everybody, you know him. He started out, he grabbed my attention on America's Got Talent. And I got to tell you, you're still my favorite. And I'm not even sucking up. You don't know me. I used to be an investigative reporter. So for me to say that, declare that, you must have put me under a spell.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely using my powers in some way.
I think so. Can I please have the winning lottery numbers?
Yeah, that's why I'm still working. Yeah, I mean, I have them. I just love my job so much. I carry on.
So I am jazzed because we have Piff the Magic Dragon. You guys, you know him. He's at the Flamingo in Vegas. He has been awing and oohing and making people probably blow snot out of their noses for over a decade. But what I love about you is your love of your dog, Mr. Piffles. And he's now 16?
Yeah, he's 16 and a half. Yeah, he's
Wow.
going to be 17 in November.
Nice. Now, you were named the Magician of the Year for 2024. That's pretty awesome.
That was amazing. Yeah.
I think Mr. Piffles got something you didn't get from Wayne Newton. What's that?
He did. Mr. Piffles got the key to the city of Las Vegas.
Was it shaped like a dog bone?
It wasn't, but I'm not sure what it opens. But yeah, they gave the key to the dog and I got nothing.
Well, you took the risk of teaming up with a dog.
Yeah. I mean, he deserves it.
I love that. I love that.
I got him in 2009.
Okay.
And he was about a year and a half old. He was a rescue, which, as we all know, is cheaper, much cheaper. They've just given them away.
Well, till later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, he was in a bit of a state when I found him. And, he had like all this gunk around his eyes. He had like bad teeth. He had, his fur was all matted. His fur was all matted and he wasn't in a very good condition. So, and I didn't know whether to adopt him or not. My friend said to me, look, just get him because you'll be able to get him out of the bad situation he's in now. And then you can get him fixed up. And if it doesn't work out, find a new home for him. But at least you've got him out of the bad situation he was in. So I just did it. I just was, okay, well, what's the worst that can happen? And I took him to the vets. First thing, he got his teeth done, which is the first thing you do in show business.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And you gave him a good name too, right? You got to give him a showbiz name.
We've got to give him a showbiz name. His original name was Alfie, and we named him Mr. Piffles. And he went in the show. And at the beginning, he didn't really do much, but the audience loved him. As soon as day one, the audience loved him. And then after working together for a year, suddenly my agent came to see his show and she was like, that dog has got comic timing now. He's got this amazing deadpan and he's just hilarious to watch. And he turned into this amazing dog, and suddenly he looked incredible when he was on the right food and his coat was all, his coat was all shiny and he was strutting around with his new teeth. And so he became this huge part of the show. And I loved it as well because I just broken up with a girlfriend when I got him. So I was like, I'm just going to concentrate on my work and it's going to be me and Mr. Piffles on the road together. We don't need anyone else. And so it was just great for my life. And I've never had a dog before. I've had cats and they're just so indifferent. Interesting. Yeah. And I, big dogs are, they're a lot for me. There's
how much does Mr. Piffles weigh?
4.5 pounds.
Okay. He's compact
Tiny.
Chihuahua.
Yeah. So having him, I could just like in the UK where I would tour all over the UK, and you can't bring dogs anywhere. It's not pet friendly like America or Canada is. So I'd have to like, shove him down my sweater and like
good
check
thing you didn't have
hotels.
a Doberman.
Exactly. Yeah. So we like formed this bond over all these tours that we did for years and years. And he's been part of my, I was only a dragon for about a year when I got him. And it takes a long time to get good as a dragon. So I was a terrible dragon before I met him. And then together we got good.
Well, so you call yourself Piff the Magic Dragon. I've been to Hanalei Bay. It's pretty nice. I haven't seen you there. I was hoping to see you there.
I was exiled.
But how would you describe yourself? Because you are magic, but you are more than magic. It is very creative. And then you add a dog with good teeth.
Yeah, a dog with amazing teeth. Yeah, well, I thought what happened was I was doing my first hour-long show in Edinburgh in the UK. Okay. And I just thought, oh, this is kind of like, it's just missing something. It's just missing. Like, it was me as a dragon doing magic. And I was like, you know what this act needs? A gimmick. So I got Mr. Piffles, and that was the final piece of the puzzle, and it all came together. But yeah, I do magic, but I also have to interact with the audience, and I found humans to be quite tiring. Despite my best efforts, they just seem to.
Is that why you would eat a sandwich while you were doing your act in front of Simon Cowell on America's Got Talent?
Yeah, I got things to do, and who really wants to listen to people judging you about how good they think the act was, right? Yeah. It's much better just to eat a sandwich.
I think that's great. So are you from England or Scotland?
England originally.
Okay. So how did you get on America's Got Talent? Because that was and I was rooting for you. I really was. I thought of all the acts, you had the most comic, most creative, and you had a canine. You got me at 3 C's.
What happened was I worked my way up in the UK, and I was doing okay there. And out of the blue, I got a phone call saying, would I be interested in doing a show in Las Vegas? And I was a small part of a big show, and the offer was to be a small part of a big show. So I said, yeah, because Vegas is like the home of magic.
Exactly.
And I moved out to Vegas, left my UK life behind, signed a 10-year contract, and I was in a show, and the show lasted for 7 months, and then it closed.
Oh.
So I was stranded. Mr. Piffles and I was stranded in Las Vegas. And I thought,
I think that's a Nicolas Cage movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be. If he hasn't made it yet. So I thought, okay, I want to stay in Vegas. I want to get my own show. And the best way to do that is to become as famous as I can, become in the shortest possible time. And the answer to that was America's Got Talent.
Oh my gosh. That was great. Hey, everybody, we're chatting with Piff the Magic Dragon, and he's unleashing his tail, and it's getting even better after we get I got tongue-tied. After we get back from the break. So everybody, sit, stay. We'll be right back.
Hey, have you heard? Four-Legged Life has a new digital newsletter. Here, let me show you how you get yourself subscribed. So you just type in Four-Legged Life, and that'll take you to the website. There we go. And this magic thing just appears, and you type in your email address. I'll use, let's see, how about coolestdogever@gmail.com. That's me. And then you just click on this thing here. There you go. It's the new digital newsletter from Four-Legged Life. Get subscribed today.
I am your host, Arden Moore, and I've had a lot of celebrities on my show, Betty White, Jennifer Aniston, all these people. But I have a magic dragon on my show, and he is awesome. His name is Piff, the Magic Dragon. And what I love about his best magical act is his love for his dog, Mr. Piffles. And what are some of the things you've done with Mr. Piffles on stage? I saw a whole bunch of things, but I want you to tell people.
None of these are gonna sound good.
No, that's what I want you to say it.
Yeah. He's been levitated. He's been laminated. We shot him out of a cannon. He escaped from a straitjacket for a while. He does a thing where a member of the audience names any drink they like, and he pees it into a cup. And the audience member has to drink it. But it is that drink. It's the drink they named. So he can pee any drink you could probably do a chocolate milk as well, but that's a different story. So yeah, he's very talented.
You got to work with him though. So what's his personality like? Because you had him at dog. I mean, you rescued him. That's great. But to have him in front of a stage, lights, all that, how did you guys bond and finish each other's sentences?
We've worked. I've had him in the show for 15 years now. We've probably done about 3,000 shows together. Wow. We've done 1,700 of those just in Vegas. And, he's amazing because he just doesn't get fazed by anything. And we can be on the big. I did a show with Mumford & Sons, the band. We were in front of 20,000 people. They were all screaming, going crazy. And I turned around and looked over at my little table where he sits, and he was asleep. He was snoring. So he's just an incredible. He's just one in a million. And we got him a little brother as an understudy, who's a very
that's
similar.
Where I want you to go into the naming and all that, because they can't last forever. There's no magic act for eternity for our dogs. So tell us the first dog you tried. I love the names. I see a pattern, but tell us that.
Well, we've got the first dog. We found him on eBay. He was another rescue, and we picked him up and we called him Tui for number 2, but also Mr. Piffles and Tui.
Okay, so, I gotcha.
Tui Piffles. So
Tui Piffles.
He was the polar opposite to Piffles. Whenever we brought him near a stage, he'd start shaking. It was crazy. He was the happiest dog around the house, but he just hated everything about the lights. So very quickly, he became in charge of morale because he was a very happy dog when he's not on stage. So, and he was great because he ran around and he kept Piffles active for a long time and was like a great.
Didn't he meet Elton John? Didn't he have like a wild weekend with Elton John?
He did have a wild weekend with Elton John.
Uh-oh.
He did, and he was never the same. But I'm not sure what happened. But yeah, he did. Yeah, he has some show business stories too. Piffles. He did one show when Mr. Piffles was late coming home from the UK, so he had to do a Vegas show. Okay, and he hated every minute of it, so we're like, okay, buddy.
But that's very kind of you to know that. Not everybody's a showbiz dog. What about Threador? This one's funny.
Don't even get me started on Threador. So we get Threador as a puppy.
Okay.
And we raise him. And by the way, all this time, we look like Piffles is like a 5-pound white long-haired Chihuahua. Yes. And so that's what we're looking for. So we have all these like emails out, and so any breeders any shelters we ever come across, we do any work for, we're always saying, look, if you find any dogs like Mr. Piffles, please tell us. And we were just getting nowhere. So we found this dog, we called him Threador, and he had the perfect temperament. His temperament is perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Okay.
Couldn't ask for a better show business
Feeling
dog.
Good.
Yeah. So he gets to 5 pounds and he looks the part, and we think this is it, home run. Then he keeps growing. He gets to 10 pounds and we're like, okay, now this is the problem because he doesn't fit in the props. He's now 15
kind of like
pounds.
an old Elvis, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's like Las Vegas era Elvis. And, he's 15 pounds now. He won't fit in any of the props. And we're feeding them all the same. So we get his DNA test done and he's 100% Chihuahua. So who knows?
Is he the Shaquille O'Neal of Chihuahuas?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
our vet said, well, every once in a while there's just a big gene Chihuahua, which I've never heard of, but seemed to me like he was covering for Threador.
I think so.
Threador, he's like the most loving dog of all time. So he's part of our family too. And at this stage, I'm like, you know what, guys? Wow. We can't keep going. We've got to take some decisive action here. And, I'd read about Barbra Streisand cloning her dog.
Yeah.
And I'd read this study in South Korea. they did a study with bomb detecting dogs, or sniffing dogs, which are apparently the most difficult of all assistance dogs to train. And they did a study where they cloned some successful bomb sniffing dogs, and they also just brought in other dogs who they would normally train.
Okay.
And it's something like, I don't know the exact number, but it was something like as diverse as the random dogs. It was like 5% success rate.
Oh,
and the clone dogs was something like 90% success rate.
Wow.
And I was like, okay.
Your brain is thinking.
Right. And like, there's so much about Piffles that I love. Now, of course, I'm not trying to like replace Piffles, because you can't do that. And every animal is unique. But a clone is like a genetically identical twin. You know, that's what you're getting. And so I thought, well, maybe some of the traits will be carried over. So we cloned him, and we got a year and a half ago, we got this tiny 8-week-old Chihuahua, and we raised him over a year. And the crazy thing was, he doesn't look like Piffles now. And he looks identical to Piffles at a year and a half.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, it's really crazy. When I go back and look at old photos and compare them side by side, they're identical. And they sleep the same way in the car. They sleep the same way on the furniture. You know, all these like very similar traits they have. Now, Piffles had a pretty rough start, and he was like, I think he was kicked around by a couple of his owners and not very happy. So he was always like very, he would always like be very, very protective and things like that.
Right.
And, our new dog, who's called Fortune, for number 4.
Well, wait a minute. You have to say that and then spell the name, because there's a pattern you've established.
It's Fourtune, because he's dog number 4, and he cost a fortune.
That's a perfect name.
He's just been brought up in a happy household with these 3 other dogs. So that's the big difference, is that he's much more easygoing and friendly than Piffles was.
Well, and your timing is good, because you're on tour soon, and you're going to be going across North America between now and I think October 26th. So tell us about the role that Mr. Piffles and Fortune will have in it. I have to say that with emphasis.
So in Vegas, Fortune is learning the whole show.
Awesome.
So he's like beginning to take it over now from Piffles, and Piffles is going to retire from the Vegas show, at some point in the near future. But on tour, we do a different show, totally different show, all different tricks, all different jokes. So on tour, we're doing a show called It Cost Me $60,000 to Clone My Dog, and now I need to make the money back. And so we're going to demonstrate how Mr. Piffles and Fortune are telepathically linked. Whatever Piffles sees, Fortune knows, and vice versa.
Can you give us an example? Because that's a long marquee.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to make sure Fortune, he's going to be surrounded by a shroud of mystery, so that he can't see anything. He's going to be inside. And somebody would choose any word from any book, and they'll just show it to Mr. Piffles. And next thing you hear is a chalk on a chalkboard, chalk. And out of the shroud of mystery, we take out Fortune, who has written the exact word on the chalkboard without even being able to hear or see what Mr. Piffles is looking at.
How do you come up with this? And I know you can't tell your trade secrets, Piff, the Magic Dragon, PTMD. But I mean, seriously, where did you get this comic creativity from?
One of the fun things about having Piffles is that you can think up funny scenarios for him, and then you can make tricks around them. So that's like one of the places. So like the idea of having like 2 clone dogs who are identical, straight away I was like, well, they're going to be the greatest mind-reading
No other act has that. No other act has that, Piff.
No.
Wow.
Nobody else has 2 genetically identical dogs in their act.
That keeps you alive in Vegas, doesn't it? And on tour. Yeah. Move over Taylor somebody. What's her name? Taylor somebody? I mean, Eris tour? You got the Piffles tour.
Got the Piffles and Fortune double act. And Fortune's stage name is Mr. Piffles 2.0.
Oh, perfect. Because of the cloning.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's worked out so well that we're actually expecting another one in, over the next sort of 12 months.
So you're going to have a fifth dog?
Yeah, he's going to be called Fievel.
Five what?
Fievel. You remember from American Tail? Did you ever see that? Because we want Fortune to have an understudy so that Fortune can have, they can have nights off.
You heard
It's been a lot for Mr. Piffles. It's been a lot for Mr. Piffles carrying the weight of my career for the past 15 years.
If you weren't doing this, what would you do? What was going to be your safety job?
I don't know. I mean, back in the day, I had a job in computers, and I would I'd be like the help desk you call, but I was terrible at it. And this is not the guy you want helping you out. So maybe I'd start my own Chihuahua farm, and we breed Chihuahuas, and they would tend the fields and grow strawberries or something.
What is it about the Chihuahua that you really love, Piff?
They're just, oh my God, they're like cats with love. They're like
cat that's full of love, and I got a part Chihuahua.
They got unconditional cats. They're unconditional cats. They're amazing. I grew up with cats, and every time I walk into the room, Mr. Piffles is just he can't believe that I came back for him. He's like, oh my God, I thought you'd left forever, and you're here. Oh, this is the best day ever. So that's what I love.
How have the Chihuahuas, all four of them, made you? I know you're great on stage, but how have they made you a better person, a better human?
Well, I had Mr. Piffles on my own for probably 5-6 years.
Okay.
And so I had to look after, look after him. That was the first time I had to really consider another being. Yeah. Now, Jade, who is also in the show and is an amazing Las Vegas showgirl, she does the heavy lifting with all four of these dogs because it's a full-time job looking after them. They're great, but it's just chaos. But when I first had Piffles, he definitely taught me how to love somebody else, unconditionally.
Now, he's got some miles. We know about Vegas, and you've been to England. Can you tell us some other places that you have toured with Mr. Piffles?
I've toured all over Canada with him as well, and all over the UK. Then I went to Australia and to New Zealand, and when we went there, we had to borrow dogs.
So how did that work out?
It was terrible.
Yeah, there's not another Mr. Piffles unless you clone him.
No. One time somebody lent me a cat.
How did that work out?
The cat, no interest in magic. They have no interest.
You should have slipped him some catnip, man.
Oh, he was disgusted by the profession. It was beneath him. And at the end of the act, he's in a little dragon costume. And the last thing he did, he just dug his nails into me, and he used that leverage to shoot himself out of the dragon costume, leaving me holding this empty costume on stage, and he ran out through the back.
So how did you adapt on stage? Everybody's watching you. They think that's part of the act.
Yeah, I just took a bow and left. Made a cat disappear.
Before we go, I have two individuals that need to meet you.
Sure.
This is Emma, my Gemma, who we found at the start of COVID, full of no collar, no ID in our neighborhood. Somebody dumped her. And then we found out she was full of heartworm.
Oh.
But her new name, it's not as clever as yours, is Emma, my Gemma. And she has her canine good citizen. And she is not a purse my ride dog. She is Chihuahua Poodle. What do you think?
Send her over for an audition.
Okay, she's awesome. Now, this one will make you laugh.
Look at that.
This is the hardest working safety cat in the world. I teach pet first aid. This is pet safety cat Casey. He says, I love dogs, people, not so much cats. But he's
really?
Therapy pet, and he travels by plane and car, and he thinks he's a dog. So I do this.
Oh,
He goes,
yeah.
we love you, Piff. You're the best.
Well, thank you very much, Safety Cat.
He goes, I would never, ever jump out of the suit.
Okay, you've got the gig.
So, everyone, we have been delighted to have on our show today Piff, the Magic Dragon. We've learned the story of Mr. Piffles, the other dogs, and then the Mr. Piffles 2.0. We're talking about Fortune. Please check out his tour.
Every show, we always do a meet and greet after the show for anyone who wants to stick around, so they can actually meet Mr. Piffles in 2.0 on the tour.
Thanks so much for making our tails wag by watching this guest interview from Arden Moore's Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life. Make sure to subscribe so you're up to date with all of our Four-Legged Life content. Four-Legged Life. Four-Legged Life.